Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video on this channel. Just a few days ago, GUNIL was expelled from XDINARY HEROES for allegedly speaking poorly about his fans, and the agency showed zero compassion and kicked him out, which a lot of fans don't agree with. So without further ado, let's get started. This whole mess began when someone who presented themselves as GUNIL's ex-partner posted private conversations between her and the drummer. These are recordings where he can be heard saying, "These fucking bitches are really making me extremely angry." And additionally, he said that he wanted to slap them. These audio clips were originally uploaded by accounts that are currently set to private, but there are public transcriptions available for certain parts of them. One of the images shared contains what seems to be an AI-generated transcript of their phone call, showing them discussing people on Twitter and how GUNIL felt frustrated by certain comments. Another screenshot appears to show him talking about how after concerts there are always debrief meetings between the members and the agency, where someone from JYP told them, "If you guys are checking Twitter or whatever, please look at that and realize something," which is followed by the controversial comment. But GUNIL himself admitted that it was his voice and that he did say those things. Many fans got extremely angry, not only because he was insulting them, but also because of the specific term used. The exact word was "시발년돌," which is a misogynistic and extremely vulgar insult that could be translated as "fucking bitches." But in Korean, it's even more offensive than it might sound in English. The fact that he used this word to refer to the fans, according to the girl who originally posted it, was shocking. Because, to give you an example so it's easier to understand, imagine that you have a gay friend, and to insult him, instead of calling him an asshole or an idiot, you use insults that directly attack the fact that he likes men. Well, that term GUNIL used was something like that, but against women. Something with similar social context to cunt or fucking horse, clearly used to degrade women. Facing this, JYP quickly announced his departure from the group, stating, "Regarding the recent issue involving member GUNIL, the agency deeply recognizes the gravity of the situation and has engaged in thorough discussions with the artist from multiple perspectives. As a result, we have determined that it is no longer feasible to continue team activities together, and we have mutually agreed to terminate the exclusive contract. Accordingly, we hereby inform you that GUNIL has withdrawn from XDINARY HEROES effective today and concluded his team activities." And they also cancelled a festival appearance in Korea and a scheduled fan meeting in Japan. This whole thing was so abrupt because less than 24 hours earlier, they had uploaded the promotional images for the fan sign, and right after that, they kicked him out of the group. GUNIL also spoke out on Bubble afterwards in a very long message. I leave you the translation in case you want to read it all, and then I will summarize the most important parts. He starts off by saying, "I had no choice but to accept the company's decision," directly contradicting any idea of mutual split and highlighting the disparity between his own and the company's statement, which is why many fans think this whole message was without company's approval, and says that since he's no longer a member of the group, he's not going to make up excuses or lies. He mentioned that the person who posted the allegations and started everything is someone he had been getting to know for 2 weeks, and that at that time he was mentally exhausted from all the hate he was receiving, the fake stories, and the negative opinions about his performances. All of that weighted too heavily on him, and he found it more comfortable to confide in what he described as a stranger I barely knew, rather than burden someone closer to him. He admits it is him in the recording, and that regardless of the reason, those were the words he spoke, and nothing changes that, which is why he apologizes to everyone who felt hurt and acknowledges the severity of his language. "I am very aware that the very fact that I said such a thing was wrong," but says that he wants to address what drove him to that point. He talks about an incident early in the year, where Sasaeng fans broke into the dorm he shared with the other band members, even placed GPS trackers on his personal car, and followed him around. And that after that, he felt fear and resentment towards some of those malicious fans. As the leader and the oldest member of the group, talking about those anxieties was difficult for him, so he kept it all bottled up inside. He also addresses a performance from a month prior in June at the Inspire Arena. He says that they all prepared extensively for this stage, but when he went on social media, instead of finding positive feedback, he and the rest of the group saw a huge wave of malicious comments that was hard for him to comprehend. He admits no performance is flawless, but seeing that unexpectedly violent backlash emotionally broke him down. One of the big complaints was that the performance wasn't long enough, but it actually lasted 3 hours and a half, which was 27 songs. This event must have affected him a lot, because he wrote an extremely long message on Bubble when it happened, which I will leave here for you to read. He said that it really hurt him when people said that they didn't care about the fans, just because they didn't do the portion of the concert where they get closer to the audience, but that wasn't their decision. They sang 25 songs plus 2 encores, and since their songs are very physically demanding, they couldn't sing any more than that. He also mentioned that the sound quality some were complaining about depends heavily on the venue and where you're seated, but he apologized anyway, in case anyone wasn't able to enjoy it 100%. He said he understood that people who paid for a concert ticket have every right to voice their opinions, but that they always try their best to make sure everyone has a great time. He goes on in the last apology to say that he didn't want to worry the agency staff or the other members, which is why he vented those built-up emotions to someone he had just met, admitting that he carelessly let out expressions that were way too harsh and unacceptable. He said that he never imagined that conversation would be leaked, but regardless, what he said was wrong. He clarifies that he was not referring to the general fans who support them, but rather to those malicious individuals hiding behind anonymity to recklessly criticize them or invade their privacy, stating that this is the truth and he doesn't want it to sound like an excuse. He thanks fans, but also says, "Also, if I said I never once had any complaints about the members with whom I lived together and shared so much of our work and private lives, that would be a lie too. But when it comes to the fact that I genuinely cherished and loved the members during my time in XDINARY HEROES." He probably included this because there were so many rumors that he was also badmouthing the members behind their backs. But the only thing out there is a portion of the call where he says, talking about Jonghan's skills and growth, possibly praising him, but we don't have any more information about it. He spends most of the letter apologizing and taking full responsibility, expresses his gratitude and says his goodbyes. Even now, none of this feels real, and it feels like I'm living through a nightmare. If this is how I feel, I can even begin to imagine how harder this must be for all of you. I really liked and love you villains. Please stay healthy and well. Following this controversy, several fans have come forward to expose the accounts of these fans who were constantly stalkers following GUNIL, and they have sent tracks to JYP demanding his return to the group. Naturally, fans started investigating who this girl who leaked everything actually is. She goes by the name CTP7, who apparently is an XDINARY HEROES fan and GUNIL is her bias, and holds 2 Twitter accounts. For CPT7 is a parody and not owned by her, but it serves as an archive of some of the wild things she said for months. On some of her profiles, she has posts attacking various idols, including members of XDINARY HEROES, Day6, and Bangchan, claiming they are homosexual, along with sexually explicit comments directed at the members of XDINARY HEROES. One thing to clarify is that CTP7 is not the ex-girlfriend. She found the girlfriend's post on a Korean forum, Jubang, and it's believed, because she alluded to this, that some things might have been sent to her via private message. Plus, this girl constantly claims to have more information about the rest of the group, but provides zero proof. When people demand evidence for what she says, she just answers with vague excuses like, "I can't find my files," or "I will show it next time," while claiming she's planning to expose Jonghan right on his birthday, which is coming up real soon on August 18th. Plus, I've seen a lot of screenshots of things she's been posting on Spin, which is a Korean social platform, and it honestly seems she's losing her mind a bit. She refers to the members using really bizarre nicknames, the most notable ones being Gaon, whom she refers as Ryoshi, which is apparently a derogatory nickname for a women-only Korean online community. Talk about hypocrisy. And Jonghan, whom she calls Nanim, meaning infertility, presumably because she claims he is to the extent of being a transgender person, meaning that he often has a feminine presenting. I'm telling you, this person clearly has a severe issue with the LGBTQ community. Also, fans are wondering how it's possible that JYP kicked him out so fast, given that this agency is quite lenient and he doesn't typically terminate contracts right away during controversies, usually placing members on hiatus until things blow over before having them return. Yet in this case, only 1 hour after his departure, they had already edited images on their social media pages and websites to erase him. In fact, GUNIL is already 28 years old and is set to enlist before the end of the year, which is why the fan meetings were scheduled for September, even though they are usually held in November, so that he could have one last chance to be with the fans before enlisting. He could have just done those 2 years of hiatus, but they decided to kick him out instead. In other situations, JYP handled things differently in the past. For example, with Hyunjin of Stray Kids during his bullying scandal, taking time to investigate all the allegations and even speaking with people from the idol's past, or even with Jonghan from XDINARY HEROES himself after some unfortunate racist comments, offering him the chance to apologize and grow. So why wasn't GUNIL granted the same opportunity? There are many theories as why JYP jumped at the very first opportunity to kick out the drummer, leader and pillar of a group from their own agency. Because while this might not completely kill the group, it's definitely going to do more harm than good. Some people point to the idea that after Twice members left the company, JYP is looking to cut costs and prioritize more profitable groups. When it comes to bands, Day6 probably is likely far more profitable than XDINARY HEROES, and outsting such a crucial member directly weakens the band, indirectly pushing them towards disbandment. However, there are contradictions to this theory since the group was actually at their peak in sales, experiencing their best moment yet, so opinions on this are heavily split. There is no further information on this situation. There is a petition that I will leave in the description that fans have made demanding GUNIL's return. It already has over 50,000 signatures, so if you want to participate, you will find it right there. Besides this, it isn't expected that GUNIL will pursue his musical career after such a horrific experience, but fans are still demanding clear explanations and have made the slogan XDINARY HEROES = 6 go viral to show their ongoing support for GUNIL. What are your thoughts on this whole situation? I'll be reading your comments below. And a special thank you to Bembo in Twitter that has helped me with the script and has been really kind to me.
And this has been all. I hope you like it. Make sure to like and subscribe if you did. It would help me a lot. See ya.